Hi, I'm Rolf Perelius with Shooter's Paradise. This video is specifically for our Patreon subscribers. Thank you guys very much. So this video is looking at danger in restaurants. And I'm not talking about food poisoning. I'm talking about the two-legged kind. Yep, crooks and criminals. That's right. So why should we be considering that? Well, put yourself, this is a very valuable exercise. If you want to be able to identify danger, think like a criminal, and it's simple to do. Say it's 9 o'clock at night, and you need cash. You need a large amount of cold hard cash, and you got a pistol so you can go hold somebody up. Where would you go to get it? How would you do that? What would you do? Think about that. Well, I can think of two places right off the top of my head where I could go to get money at 9 o'clock at night, because the banks are closed, other stores are closed, but convenience stores are open. We all know about the dangers around convenience stores. And there's another place that's open at 9 p.m. That's right, restaurants. It's an interesting concept. Maybe we ought to give it some thought. So we don't teach situational awareness. We don't talk much about that. I think it really misses the boat because it's only one part of a whole. And we can get wrapped up in one element of something and then miss the whole. You see the trees, you don't see the forest. And we need to see the forest, the whole thing. So what we teach is items, things that we should be looking for. And I strongly recommend you dig through the videos on our Patreon page here and see that there's videos that address this. We have a list of 10 items that we suggest people look for when they're out in public. And once you know what they are, you don't have to be constantly scanning for this item. When you see it, it will stand out like a sore thumb. There's also a list of things that we like to use to identify danger, two-legged danger, when we're at work, at home, or maybe at a friend's house. So you see those videos and dig into those. So we're teaching what you should be looking for. I wonder about restaurants. I wonder what we should look for in restaurants. Well, the author Mark McYoung, he says that awareness without knowledge is paranoia. So I can be paranoid every time I go to a restaurant, or I can enjoy myself in a restaurant. I'm paying them for the experience of eating there, because quite frankly, I can get food at home. So I want to enjoy it. I don't want to live a paranoid life. That's not me. So how do you handle it when you go out to eat? You sit facing the door. I got you. I'm with you 100% there. Yep. And hopefully you have your back to the wall. I like that a lot. It's nice to be able to have a commanding view of the environment that you're in. You know everything that's going on. When somebody drops something and it makes a loud noise, you know exactly what it is, and there's no, turning around and craning your neck, and you saw it happen. It's a nice thing to have a view of the entire environment. So, will Rolf sit in a restaurant with his back to the door? The answer to that is yes, I'll do that for sure. Now, people that know me know that I like to sit facing the door, and like me and my wife, we don't fight over chairs. If we can both sit watching the room, we will. If one of us can't, then that's fine, because the other one knows what to look for. So I like to think there's secrets in the world, things that we may know subconsciously, but we've never given conscious thought to. This, I think, qualifies as one of those secrets. How we should handle a restaurant, what we should do. Now, I want to let you know that I come to this with some personal experience. I was in a restaurant. Guys with machine guns came in. Death happened. I learned some lessons, and some of this information I'm going to give you comes directly from what I learned, and some of the rest of it comes from study afterward. So, when I enter a restaurant, I like to do three things. The first thing is, I give the restaurant a once-over, and I look around the restaurant, then look and see normal behavior. Okay, everything looks normal here. Everybody is acting as I would expect what I understand the norms to be of people eating in a restaurant. I'll also look for the bright red exit sign to see where the additional exits are. You go through the kitchen, you get out that way. There's a side door over here. I like to know where that is. So that's the first thing I do. I just give the place a once-over. And then the second thing I do when we get to the table and we sit down is to set my trigger. When you're home alone at night, you set the alarm. When you are in the zombie apocalypse situation and you're out in the woods camping, you set up a string with tin cans on it to make noise. Alarms are very, very valuable. The puppy that you have is an alarm system. And that's a good one because you can't fool the nose on that dog. All right, so I set my trigger. And what is my trigger exactly? What is it that's going to let me know there's a problem? That's a secret right there. So, I don't care whether I've got my back to the door or I'm looking at the door. Doesn't really matter that much to me. Why? Now, if I have a choice, I'd like to sit being able to see the whole room and see the door. But it doesn't matter that much to me. I wonder why that is. It's because I know that it doesn't make that big of a difference. If the bad guys come in through the kitchen, will you be able to identify it by watching the front door? No. You won't have a clue. You won't get any pre-warning to it if you're watching the front door and they come in through the back door. Right. That's something to consider. So what I'm looking for, my little secret is I'm looking for abnormal behavior. I'm looking for something specific. I'm also looking for panic. Because let me tell you, the average person, the average citizen has no training in this field. And so when they're in the restaurant and somebody pulls out a gun, they just panic. And they run wildly through the restaurant. They do crazy things. That's what I'm looking for. That's my trigger. That's what tells me to go. And so if there's 50 people in the restaurant, I can sit facing the door, watching the door, and there's one set of eyes looking for danger. Or I can understand how other people act and understand what I need to look for in them, and I can use 50 sets of eyes to scan for danger. That's pretty valuable. So I'm looking for abnormal behavior. The restaurant is loud and noisy, and instantly it goes dead quiet. Whew, that right there is abnormal behavior. That right there tells me something's up. I gotta check it out. I gotta move. Somebody, the waitress, and consider this. So I want to sit facing the front door. I want to sit I'm on guard facing the front door, but there's multiple rooms in the restaurant. And the threat pops up in another room. I'm not going to see it. I'm not going to know it. But the waitress who comes running out of that room will alert me to the fact that there is a threat in that other room. So that's a key right there. Looking for abnormal behavior, specifically looking for panic. When people panic in a restaurant, you have a very short time on your hands to act. So having already thought, well, there's the exit and there's the exit, and I'm going to bolt for one of those exits gives you all the advantage. You see, and then the third thing I'm going to do. So the first thing is I scan the restaurant and identify exits. The second thing I do is set my trigger point, which is abnormal behavior and panic. And then the third thing I do in a restaurant is I enjoy the heck out of my meal. Yeah, that's right. I enjoy life. I don't worry. I don't focus. Because I don't need to, because I have a trigger and alarm set. So consider this. There's two ways criminals are going to come in to rob a restaurant. Largely speaking, there might be a exception. That's the word I want. There might be an exception to the rule, right? White collar crime or something. Yeah, technically that's robbing. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the robbery in a restaurant that's going to put you in physical danger. So there's two ways they'll do it. One, they'll come in and they'll hide the fact that they're going to do this thing. They'll come in and they'll eat a meal. Well, if you're going to rob the restaurant, why not get a free lobster dinner out of the deal, right? Yeah, absolutely. So the criminals may come in hiding their intention. And quite frankly, most criminals are very good at that. So it's not appropriate for me to think that I've got some superhuman ability to identify criminals and I'll know them when I see them. That's not realistic. The other way a criminal is going to come in is come in with guns drawn, shooting the ceiling, everybody get on the floor. Okay, so in that case, they come in like that, I'm going to know instantly what's up. It doesn't matter if I see them coming in with the guns or I simply see the reactions of the other people, because they come in with guns drawn. Don't you think people are going to panic? Don't you think there's going to be some evidence in other people that I can pick up on if I train myself to act upon that? Absolutely. So the other method where they come in hiding the fact, guess what? Who do you think is going to see them pull out their guns while they're seated at the table? It's probably going to be waitstaff, because waitstaff are the ones who are looking at the tables and the people at the tables because they want to get a good tip. And they're worried that this guy is going to skip on the check, or he's upset with the lobster he got or something. So they're watching their tables. Do they need drinks? I'm not looking at other tables like that. So why not use the waitstaff's eyes and attentiveness in my favor? I mean, that's a valuable tool. So if they're in another room and they ate a meal before the guns come out, the waitstaff is the one who's going to see the guns first. So when the waiter goes running out the front door, just, freaked out and crazy, that's my indicator. And I believe that you have 3 seconds to act in that point. Because what happens is, whether they come in the front door with guns drawn or whether they pull guns out, they have to establish control of their environment. There's a time period from the moment they enter or the moment they pull guns to the point where they have established control. You can act pretty freely in between the point where guns come out and the point where control is established. If you try to act after control is established, it's going to be very, very bad for you. I feel quite comfortable that I've got 3 seconds to act, whether they come in. I think guys come in the front door, guns drawn, pointed at the ceiling. I can go right past them. I can walk right past them out the front door if I do it in the first 3 seconds. So the key is that I'm ready to go when the trigger happens, and I don't, oh wait, that was my trigger. Well, I wonder what is actually happening here. No, when the trigger happens, I've got to move at that moment. And if I do, I can simply walk out of the situation, which, trust me, is what you want to do. So I have a period of time between the time that the criminal begins to do the action and the time where he's established control. So I need to be looking for this abnormal behavior. I need to be looking specifically for panic. And the waitstaff is a very good place to look for that, because they have no training. They're not 99.999% of them are not ex-Navy SEAL. You get my point. So look for panic. Look for it particularly in the waitstaff. Understand you have a very short period of time to act. Give yourself permission to walk out on the check. Give yourself permission to walk out and have people look at you like you're insane. Give yourself permission. And then the moment you see abnormal behavior, act. This is incredibly liberating. You don't have to have your head on a swivel when you're in a restaurant. You don't have to, because you're not going to be able to see this stuff happen anyway. It's going to start in another room. It'll start in the kitchen. There's too many separated rooms and things in restaurants, right? So enjoy yourself. Understand what to look for and look for that one thing, and then enjoy your steak dinner. Life is great. I hope this has been helpful. You feel free to make comments, ask questions. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks a lot.